Retro Hangover is supported via Patreon by listeners like you. We would especially like to thank patrons Lyle McCarnes, Ashton Ruby, Randall Quiggle, Tony G, Katie Quigg, Paul Ramallo, Jared Kernop, and Masked Llama. Your continued engagement and generous donations are deeply appreciated.
Open your ears and crack some beers. You are listening to episode 88 of Retro Hangover.
And hello, retro and classic gamers. Welcome to the podcast where we are picking prickling Pikachus, pouring pouting ponytas per permissive Persians. This is episode 88 of Retro Hangover. I am your co-host, Chris Copleen, with Nintendhost LPTyger, special guest, Pokémon Snap expert, Lynnsey, and, as always, your host, Shane Snappin' Dick Pick Dragon Koski!
I always like to think when Chris just completely cuts out during this intro that he has literally gone to space.
To the moon.
And back. Yeah, to the moon is what I'm saying. Also, I feel as though in order to snap an appropriate Dick Dragon pick, you would have to have one like serious selfie stick. That's all I'm saying.
You get 3 wishes. That's how it works with Shenlong.
Oh, I was like, where the fuck did that come from?
Shenlong, man. Get the Dragon Balls. You get the big dragon. Make some wishes. You can get your selfie stick. Great.
Yes, because if I were to collect all of the Dragon Balls, that's what I would wish for, a selfie stick.
You wanted to take a selfie and a picture. You can put on Tinder.
Do you get 3 wishes?
Yeah.
I thought you only got 1.
It was the Namekian Dragon Balls.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Namekian, you get 3. The regular Dragon Balls on Earth, you only get 1.
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome to the Retro Hangover Dragon Ball podcast, where we will be discussing the nuances between the different series of Dragon Ball.
Hey, look, you can get a selfie stick or you can get panties. And that is canonical. All right.
That is true. Yes.
Oh, this is off to a great start. By the way, welcome back, Tiger. It's nice to have you here again.
Thank you. I'm happy to be back.
Yeah, you've been sucked into a vortex, which we all have been in 2020.
Yeah.
And I'm very happy you have brought along Lynnsey. Welcome to the show, Lynnsey. Very nice to have you here.
Hello. It is very nice to be here. I practiced that line
I am
over
not
and over.
reading this from a card.
She's reading from a, what do you call those?
It's my flashcards, and don't tell anybody.
No, my bad.
Yeah, hello.
We told her if she didn't come on this episode, very bad things would happen. So she's under no stress whatsoever.
Wow, that's intense.
But welcome. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. It's awesome to have both of you here. I think this is going to make for a really great episode. So thank you both.
You're welcome.
So because you've been gone for so long, let's start out. Because, I've had a lot of people say, where's Tiger? Where's Tiger? Where's Tiger?
I don't believe it.
You can not believe it all you want to, but I have to deal with it. So you can say whatever you want. So Tiger, where have you been? What have you been up to?
I've been doing a lot of Amazon reselling and working for the post office and investing in Doge and investing in GameStop.
And vacation.
And Monster Hunter.
And apparently vacation somewhere in there.
Yeah. Well, we had a vacation last week, so we went out and visited some friends after we all got vaccines.
Nice.
Spent a week just outside of the house as opposed to the last year not outside of the house.
Well, we were in someone else's house.
Yeah, well, outside of our house.
That's always nice.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah. At least it's a different indoors.
Yes. Different scenery. Well, at least.
In a neary long. No, can't do it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Scenery in a weary long
Yeah,
time.
you try. Gotcha. That's me having bad puns rubbing off on her. So
It's awful.
yeah.
It's bound to happen eventually.
Yeah, I've been keeping myself very busy. And besides all that, I'm happy to be back again, as I said. So let's focus on my happiness to be back.
Podcast volume.
Please.
He's just so overwhelmed.
What games have you been playing? You said Monster Hunter.
Yeah. We both. Well, let's go back to what have I been playing since the last episode?
When was that?
It was a while ago.
Holy
Probably
shit.
3
a
hours
month, maybe
later.
2. But we've both been playing Monster Hunter World, and I had just started pretty much like 2 months ago. I've never played Monster Hunter prior to that, like more than like once or twice. And we just both got completely sucked in. Well, I did, because she's been sucked in Monster Hunter for years.
Yeah. Generation for you?
No.
3DS.
3U. Monster Hunter 3 Ultimate on the Wii U was the first one I remember.
No, not Wii U. The one before
3DS.
3DS.
Yeah, it's one of them. They were on both. But
Oh, that
anywho,
was the same one. You're right.
Yeah. Anywho, I've been loving it. I've been playing with her. I've been playing with friends, and then he's pretty much prepped us for Monster Hunter Rise on the Switch. And that is the game that I've been playing since it has released. I'm probably about 90 hours plus in.
So you've just started.
Yeah. It's,
Essentially.
I've reached a point where I pretty much can't do anything else except just keep grinding, which is actually the point of the game.
I was gonna say, isn't that the game?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
But we beat all the story and beat all the hunter rank quests.
Yeah.
So
nice.
what we can do is beat the low rank quests and make sure we did all the side
If we want to
quests.
do that.
Yeah.
I want to do that. But
I've heard a lot of people have beat it real quick and now they're like bored but they're still playing. And like someone posted, you can take pictures of all the monsters as like their profile. And this person went and took a picture of every monster's feet. And not just the large ones.
It's a monster fish fetish.
Yeah. They went to town. Not just the large ones, but the little monsters too, like the little Jagresses and stuff. He killed them and took a
not
picture
just the
of the
big
feet.
ones, but the women and the children.
And he posted the entire album on Reddit. And like the top comment was something like, "Please, Capcom, please release new content."
Oh God. I just feel like that's also a missed opportunity to sell some of those as like, some NFTs or something.
no.
You know,
Oh,
get those
absolutely.
sweet monster pics.
Oh boy.
They need to add a 9-foot tall vampire lady to Monster
Oh
Hunter.
no,
Oh,
we're going
no.
to this too.
At least the
Dude, I will hunt that monster.
oh my, oh dear, and take a picture of her feet.
Not really into feet as
No,
much,
not
I'll be honest.
No,
No, not
well,
not
you
my
can
bag.
just sell it. There's someone
That's
out
true.
there.
Yeah,
That's
there's
true. I
always-
could.
Someone wants the feet.
Oh yeah.
That's it. That's what I've been playing.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Cool.
How about you, Shane? Yes, it's awesome to hear just catch up on all that shit. That's great. Lynnsey, do you have anything to add? Do you have anything additional? Like, did you play anything he didn't?
Yeah, I was playing Hades mostly until
Nice.
I overlapped into Monster Hunter when he started getting into it. I didn't beat it, but I got really far, and I don't think you can beat it. But then I learned that you can have the hot man as your hot boyfriend, and so I'm probably going to go back to that soon.
She's back in.
I didn't know that was a possibility until after I stopped playing, and I will go back now. But Hades is really fun. I don't like those kind of games at all, but I got really sucked into Hades.
I need to try that out. I got the physical version not too long ago. And like on Discord, it's been a constant harassment campaign to get people to play it. And now no one talks about it anymore. It just kind of
until
just
you
dried
bring it up again.
Exactly.
And then they're like, hey, why aren't you playing it yet? So.
Yeah.
I think I have like experience of the 3 TV shows that I should be watching and the 3 games that I should be playing. And Hades is always one of those games. And then like the TV shows is like WandaVision and what was the other one? The Captain or the Winter Soldier and the Falcon and that thing and Mandalorian.
We did that one.
Yeah, we did do that one
Yeah.
though. So we have one of 3 completed.
Yeah.
Ready for
I only got 2 more.
Yeah, and I mean, upside is they're pretty short, right? So
We've been watching The Simpsons.
oh
Yeah,
god.
we have,
we need to catch
like
up.
20 seasons to go or so, at least.
How about you, Shane? What have you been up to?
Oh man, let me tell you about moonflowers. All right, so there's this game called Nier for the Xbox 360.
Oh,
At least that's what I'm playing it on. I may be playing it because we're going to be talking about it at some point in the near future, and I think most of the folks in the Discord already know that.
The near future, yay!
Yeah, man, that's a joke that's never been made before
Never,
until
ever.
right now. Yep,
It's not even
That's it.
It's never even been made on this show.
no, definitely not.
That's how new it is.
But I am happy to report that as of the day of this recording, I checked my garden and have successfully cultivated the white moonflower, which was the last thing I needed to get the like legendary gardener achievement or whatever the hell it was. So that nightmare is over, and now I can actually finish playing the game. So I got that going for me. I also kind of circled back to try to finish up some games that I started but never completed. Brianna and I kind of sat down and I fired up Yoshi's Woolly World again on my Wii U.
ooh.
And I'm trying to finish that because we completed the story, but we never got around to getting all of the collectibles and all of that stuff. So I'm going back and trying to do that. And man, that game is deceiving. Like, it's all cute and shit, you know, like everything's made of yarn and felt, and it's all like, you know, Michael's crafts. And then you get to the part where you actually have to do like the secret levels and do all the collections. And that game's actually got a fair amount of difficulty to it, trying to do that stuff.
So it's a Nintendo game.
Pretty much.
No,
Yeah.
it's pretty difficult. Let me add that to you because I remember doing this and I did not like it.
We
Did not like it one bit.
Well,
There's
yeah,
like
a
you have
lot
to
of
collect
fun.
all the little hippity hoppity star things. You gotta collect all the stupid flower things. And there's something else to collect.
ball of yarn. You need all the color of the yarn.
Well, for each level, in order to 100% it, you need to collect, what is it? You need to collect all of the flowers. You have to collect all of the hidden stamps.
Stamps.
And then you need to finish the level with 100% of your health.
Oh, that's right.
Is that the star thing?
Yeah.
The little thing the things that jump around? You have to collect 30 of them. Is this a completely different game?
I think that's a different game.
Okay,
What's
well,
the
never
other?
mind.
Wait, Woolly World. What are we playing?
Woolly World is in this crafted world, and that's a little different.
Yeah, that's the
But
Switch
it's,
game.
it's the same
Yeah.
concept. There's still a crap load of collectibles.
No, I know, but one of them you collected the little yarn bundles. That must be.
I mean, that's Woolly World.
Oh, yeah. No, Lindsay's right, actually.
Do you
Duh.
collect
Yeah,
yarn bundles
that's
in?
the other collectible. They're yarn bundles. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so you're right. Yeah.
I couldn't remember those other ones, but I was like, no. I know I collected yarn bundles because that was terrifying in some aspects.
Yeah, you're collecting body parts of a Yoshi.
Yeah, I meant
basically.
that. I always thought like, and here's another piece of my flesh. Here's where I fit in my other flesh.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's like the bigger part of the game.
Right,
Yeah. Yes.
So, I mean, I'm kind of on board with you, Tiger, in that I can't really say that I'm enjoying it. I don't think that's the right word. But now I feel compelled to try to finish it. So that's my latest endeavor.
You're in too deep.
I am. I'm in too deep into the whirly world.
Hooray for a sense of completion.
That's right. I mean, hey, at least I don't have that with Nier. You know, I've come down from my initial lofty goal of trying to upgrade every single weapon in the game.
It's a great game.
It's a good game.
I'm happy you're enjoying it.
I am actually. There's some stuff around the peripheral that I'm not super enthused about, but the game itself is pretty solid.
You and your weird peripheral shit. It's fine.
I can't help it. I use Wii tennis rackets. Why not?
Yeah.
So, Chris, what have you been doing?
So since we recorded, I've actually have quite a bit of games to talk about because there's been quite a gap.
Oh no.
What do you mean? Oh no.
We'll be here for another 20 minutes.
I'll be brief. I'll be very brief.
Okay.
So I completed Shining Force 3 Scenario 1 for the Sega Saturn, and I had a lot of fun with it. It was a fantastic game, and people should play that. Great game. Then I went to play Castlevania Symphony of the Night for the Sega Saturn. So it's not called Castlevania Symphony of the Night, but that's what we know it as. So whatever. It's a Japanese word that I'll probably mispronounce. So I played that for the Sega Saturn, and I was the selling point for that game is that you can start out as Richter and or Maria in addition to Alucard right off the bat. So of course I just beat it with Alucard because yeah,
Of course.
Yeah, of course. I had a great time. It's nice and relaxing, and yeah, it's always good to go back to a game you're really familiar with. So that was fun. And then I started playing 2 games for a side project that I'm not going to officially announce on our podcast quite yet because it's not complete. But, stay tuned for about another 3 months or so, and maybe 2, and we'll get more into it. But I started playing Grandia 2 and Majora's Mask, more so Majora's Mask. And I am having such a good time with Majora's Mask after absolutely feeling anxious and nervous and hating my life for the first hour of that game. But then once I started learning how to actually play it, I'm actually having a really, really good time, even though I know there's probably going to be instances where I'm going to regret those words.
I'm still not fully convinced that you're actually enjoying it. I think you're just saying that.
Majora's Mask is pretty enjoyable the entire time. After that, you only have 3 days to do it. Oh, it's over. Just kidding. And then you have freedom to have amazing time the entire time, really. I mean, there's Zelda moments, but otherwise there's no water temple issue, really. It's so much. I love that game. That game is just continuously fun.
I'm having such a good time. Shane, I don't know why Shane thinks I'm lying. I'm really enjoying that game. And speaking of difficult games, there are some difficult things in that game that really irritate me in order to get heart pieces, especially with the bow and arrow. Some of these mini games are fucking brutal. They have no chill. I'm this is like Shane said with Woolly World. It's here's this really cute game with really cute graphics, and it lures you into kind of this more younger atmosphere. And then it just says, no, fuck you. And we're going to make this hard. And that's what it does in some instances with Majora's Mask. But fortunately, I haven't encountered that with the main kind of stuff you're supposed to be doing. So it's more of a I can't get this heart piece, so I'm going to bitch about it mini game kind of shit. But other than that, I'm really enjoying it. The characters are endearing. The environments are endearing. It's a lighthearted romp with a unique mechanic, especially within the Zelda series. And I'm I dig it. I'm really loving it.
Nice. I mean, all joking aside, I actually am glad that you're enjoying it. I, for what it's worth, I don't think I ever gave it much of a fair shake. I never got past the kind of initial shitty part of it, and it turned me off so hard that I never wanted to go back. So,
and I can completely understand that. The first 3 days when you're the fucking Deku kid or Deku scrub or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And it's oh, if you don't get this in 3 days, we're going to it's game over and the world's going to end. And it kind of doesn't give you really any advice about what to do. That's kind of bullshit. That really just that anxiety that's created there within the first hour of that game is absolutely horrible on Nintendo's part. But I get it. I get it. It still sucks, but I get it.
Well, I suppose having said all of that, we probably ought to start talking about the game that we have all gathered here today to discuss, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is the Pokémon Snap for Nintendo 64. And with that, since we do have the venerable LPTyger with us today, the Nintendhost, if you will, he will be doing the honors and reading us the brief history of Pokémon Snap.
Gotta snap them all? The hype for Pokemon was real in the late 90s. Hot off the heels of the console reviving success of the games, you had an animated TV show, feature-length films, fast food branded toys, a card game. The pocket monsters were seemingly inescapable. Pikachu had arguably become the little yellow emperor of popular culture. But while this phenomenon began with a juggernaut of a portable game, the series had yet to make it to every gaming platform, notably Nintendo's flagship console, the N64. Poké-fanatics were demanding something to play on the Big N's home system, but what they got was not at all what they were expecting. In 1995, a 64DD game was being developed under the working title of Jack and the Beanstalk. It was intended to be based off the fairy tale of the same name and developed by longtime Nintendo second-party developer HAL. All that's known about this soon-to-be-doomed project was that it would revolve heavily around a photography mechanic. The storybook adaptation would never come to fruition. However, the overwhelming success of the first-generation Pokémon titles in Japan, coupled with the distinct lack of promise the Jack project was showing, Satoru Iwata and others at Nintendo decided to switch the team's focus from a children's book character to the much more lucrative collectible creatures. Unfortunately, this was not the last hurdle the project would face. As the 64DD encountered one delay after another, so too would the nascent title that would come to be known as Pokémon Snap. Ultimately, like many other projects in the pipeline, it was decided to move the game from the death-spiraling disk drive to a regular cartridge in January 1999. Pokémon Snap would finally see release on March 21st, 1999 in Japan, with North America receiving it on July 26th, and PAL regions not being able to lay hands on the game until almost a year later on September 15th, 2000. Nintendo would partner with the likes of Blockbuster Video and Japanese store Lawson to set up kiosks where players could bring in their cartridge and print out pictures that were saved in the game. While the game received largely tepid reviews from most critics, it performed far better commercially, going on to sell 3.6 million units and propping up Nintendo's struggling console. All told, Pokémon Snap would eventually become the 11th best-selling Nintendo 64 game of all time. This lighthearted, candid snapping adventure would go on to see re-releases on the Wii Virtual Console in 2007 and in Japan's Wii U Virtual Console in 2016. A long-awaited sequel to the game would be released for the Nintendo Switch on April 30th, 2021, much to the relief of series fans. And that is your brief history of Pokémon Snap.
All right, and thank you for the brief history, Tiger. It's always good to hear you read the history. It's been so long.
Thank you. It's been so long for me too.
Sorry, you can take off the announcer voice now, but we appreciate
sorry,
it.
My bad. We back, baby. Let's go.
All right. So, as we are wont to do, I feel like I haven't used that one in a little while.
It's been a while.
I gotta bring it back. Well, I'm bringing it back in conjunction with Tiger's triumphant return, Of
course.
Yeah. So, we talk a little bit about our personal experiences with the game first. So, you know what? Let's start with Chris, and I think we want to end with our esteemed guests because I think that they're going to have some interesting things to say. So, Chris, what was your experience with the Pokémon Snap?
So this coming out in 1999 was right around the time I guess I was really the biggest into Pokémania. And even that being said, I didn't really view this game a lot as a Pokemon game per se, but it was part of the Pokemon paraphernalia. So when it came out, I definitely went to my Blockbuster Video and rented the game, but I didn't really see anything beyond that. I had a good time with it. It was cool, especially because here are these Pokemon. They're fully fleshed out. They're 3D. It's cool to see. But all the RPG elements that I wanted from my Pokemon game just weren't there. So I kind of kept it to a rental, and I never picked up the game myself, and I kept it as a rental game. I had a good time with it when I did, but that's all it really was for me back then. How about you, Shane?
Yeah, that's fair. So that actually tracks pretty closely to my experience as well. I never actually owned this one for my N64, but I did rent it several times. Probably one of those ones that was getting close to I rented it enough that I probably should have just bought it. But truth be told, I was never really a huge Pokemon fan. Interestingly enough, I'd gotten more into Pokemon the older I got. I played, the original Pokemon Red, and that was really my only experience for quite a while, actually. And then, nowadays I still pick up the Pokemon Go every time there's a community day. That's usually when I actually play. And I was actually really into Let's Go Eevee for a while, but then again, that's just a remake of Red, so that probably says something. So this one, though, I think a big reason that I played it as much as I did, honestly, it was because of my younger brother. He's about 4 years younger than I am. And so this and just the more general Poké craze, the Poké fanaticism, if you will, it hit just at the right time for him. I felt like I was just like outside of really getting caught by the Pokemon bug, but he definitely got it full force. And so he was really the driving factor behind not only this, but, you know, also my familiarity with like the trading card game, because he would be buying the cards and watching the show and all that good stuff. So I definitely got more invested in it because of him, I think, otherwise than I would have otherwise. But yeah, that was pretty much my experience with this. I remember him and I kind of trading off runs of the different levels on this quite a bit. So, but yeah, so Tiger, Lynnsey, what about you guys? What's your experiences with this game?
Well, my experience was very, very slim. Well, it's none. I had no experience with this game.
Shit, I oversold this.
None. I didn't even get into Poké. Well, it kind of helped that I was not a handheld person at all. I've never. My first handheld was a Nintendo DS, so I completely missed like the Pokemon hype. So when this came out, I probably was just like, I don't know what this is, so I'm skipping it. So, but I will. Since that is the case, Lynnsey, I'm sure you can tell us your childhood memories and such.
This is the greatest game on N64. Number one.
She just comes out the gate with that. I like it.
This was best ever. There's some Zeldas and stuff you can get into, but if you don't play Pokemon Snap, then you're just missing out. I don't know why I really like this game. When I got original Game Boy and Pokemon Red, year or whatever it was released, Christmas is my Christmas present. And I beat Pokemon Red and I replayed it, and my Game Boy, my Pokemon Red was stolen in middle school, and I never told my dad because I thought I'd get mad. Anyway, I didn't play any other Pokemon games until I got a Game Boy Color, and even then I just got Red again and just replayed it in Yellow. So in Yellow, I think that it kind of introduced to like Pokemon are actually animals and they can do stuff. Like with Pikachu, and like there's other things in Yellow they sort of introduced where it's like, look, these are actually cute little animals as opposed to generic little pixel things. And that was sort of the thing I never really connected with Pokemon. I didn't really care really too much until Pokemon Snap came out. And I did the thing where I rented it. And when I played it, I just thought it was the coolest, cutest thing. It was like, I also really wanted to be a zoologist when I was a kid. So I was really into animals. And I would like throw stuff at them and like, and I realized very quickly that that was a Dreamcast, but then the Hey You Pikachu, that game, that was N64, right? The microphone doesn't work for the game, for Snap, so don't use the microphone, but I tried. But,
why won't you hear me?
What?
Come here, Pikachu.
Hello?
Get over here, damn it.
Why are you just standing there? And I just remember like, when you would like go down this road and like they'd be doing Pokemon stuff and you're not disturbing them until they let you disturb them. And I just had so much fun just like seeing where it's funny. You mentioned like the RPG elements, and I guess there really isn't an RPG associated with this, but I guess seeing sort of like a little story of animals doing their thing, it was like, that like really made me, I didn't play like any other Pokemon besides Red. And then Pokemon Stadium sometimes. And that was just for the mini games. And so I loved it. I took every picture. I saved them all. I did not go and print them out at Blockbuster though. I never did any of that. I didn't even know you could do that probably.
Yeah, I had no idea about that either.
But I have it complete in box and everything for the N64. I replayed it. I would delete my save and replay it like constantly. So I love the game.
Oof, that's dedication. I don't know if I could bring myself to delete like a completed save.
I couldn't do that. I can't do that.
I don't know what I used to do that with Ocarina of Time too. I would like 100% it and then I delete it and start again. Like, and I would do that Pokemon Snap
It
too.
hurts.
Yeah, I was really good at those games, you guys. I would just do it all over again. That's all I had.
I don't need save files.
The one difference that I think is between like Ocarina and fucking Pokemon Snap is that Pokemon Snap only allows you to have one save file. Ocarina lets you have 3. So for you to delete the 100% Ocarina file, like that's dedication right there. I can somewhat understand it with Pokemon Snap because, hey, if you just want to start that new game fresh, get that fresh feeling, you got to do what you got to do.
That's true.
But,
yeah. I always think now that I'm thinking about it, I kept the 100% Ocarina, but I would delete this one or try to break the game on other ones, but I'd always have my 100%. But Pokemon Snap, I would just delete and start over.
Okay. That makes sense. I can understand that then.
Well, speaking of the story of the little Pokemon running around doing their own thing, as Lynnsey mentioned, that functions as a great segue into talking a little bit about the plot and the writing of the game. So let's see, who wants to start with this one? Actually, you know what? We'll continue picking up from there. Tiger, Lynnsey, you guys want to talk a little bit about how you feel about the writing and the plot in this?
Yeah, I think it was actually kind of, even at the time, I thought it was super duper cool that, like, because I was really into the anime, and then they just had that random character Todd, like a whole game about this character that was in like one episode. He was in subsequent episodes afterwards, but at the time I was like, whoa, they're doing like this side thing. And then even at the time I remember thinking like, man, he's ugly. And then 64. I also thought like it was cool to hear Professor Oak's voice.
Yeah.
And the Pokemon voices, that was really like probably got me the most, was all the Pokemon voices. And then, but as far as like the story goes, I didn't need it. It would be a little like, I think it was just enough for being like, oh, at least I know why we're here. Oh, we found Mew. Good for us. I guess we're like on National Geo Pokemon graphic.
National Poké-graphic. There you go. That's it.
But yeah, the voiceover was probably the best part.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say. Like, I barely even noticed.
They even have typos. We noticed while we're playing again.
Well, I can't remember what it said. When after you choose all of your pictures, and then you confirm that all of your pictures are ready, and it says, "Do you want to show this picture to Professor Oak?" or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was just like, "This picture, like just one of them?"
It was like, do you want to show this pictures to Professor Oak or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah. It was really.
Who needs grammar?
My God. I'm sorry. You were talking about that, and I just like came up with the subtitle for this episode. It's gonna be look at this photograph. It's gonna be amazing.
Every time I do, it makes me laugh.
Cute.
Every time I do, but yeah.
Yes.
I think the underlying story was neat. You know, like not necessarily like, here is Todd. Here's Todd taking a picture. Look at that cute Pikachu. You know, there's also like the story of like why Zapdos is there and why Pikachu gets pissed off and releases Zapdos, and Zapdos gets mad, so he turns on the laboratory and all the what are they called? The yellow boogaboos with the stripes.
The Electabuzz?
Yeah, Electabuzz. They go boogaboo, right?
Yellow boogaboos.
I like that name better.
Doing
well,
there?
what are they doing? And then Zap just turns everything on. And they're like, oh, I guess we can go home. And then, like, I just like all those things is kind of what I see as the story. So in that sense, like, why Jinx like worshiping Articuno, and then they have to like hula, and then Articuno breaks out. It's like that's like, and it all makes sense in Pokemon. Where why is coughing, shaking Jigglypuff, and if you do, they'll put on a show for you. Just that's the story. That's what I saw as the story. So Todd was there,
experiencing the real story.
Yeah, Todd was there to show us the story.
Wow,
he was the documentarian. In all of this.
Right.
It's not game is it's like he's like Tidus in Yuna's story. It's not his story, but he'll tell you it is.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
This game got much deeper than I expected.
I was gonna say, like, I don't even know how to follow that up like that.
I mean, like, you save Pikachu from a Zubat, right? you know, and then he comes down in balloons as he's wanting to do. And then he pops from the balloons.
Yes.
And then he goes and celebrates with a little thunder show. And then Articuno comes and picks Pikachu up. And then he's like, Pikachu! And they're having a great old time flying around. And then that's how you know that Articuno and Pikachu are the best of friends. Despite their clear differences.
It's a story of unity.
Right.
That's what Pokemon Snap really is at its core.
And then there's no reason for Mystic and Yellow Bros.
Yellow Bros. Instinct.
The Boogaboos.
Instinct. The Boogaboos.
Oh.
No reason for us to fight each other.
Yes. We're all one.
Well, Moltres just makes trouble.
It's a story for modern times. We are all Articunas or Pikachus.
When
But we can have a good
Story
time.
for the ages. A timeless tale. I'm going to be real. I did not think we were going to spend this much time talking about the plot.
There's so much. Every single land has its own story.
I even sarcastically wrote deep lore in all caps in our notes, and I have been proven wrong. I've been proven wrong.
That's what you get with solid interpretation, Shane.
Apparently, yeah. I stand corrected.
Good stuff. I guess I'm going to be the contrarian here
Go on.
and just be like, I turned it on and it's like Professor Oak's like, hey, I need to take pictures of all these Pokemon for the Pokemon. It's not the Pokedex.
I take all these pictures for reasons.
It's like the Pokemon report.
Yeah,
It's like, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, didn't you just send out your nephew or grandson or whatever the hell to go catch all the Pokemon? Like, there's a real simple solution to this. I think you're overthinking it. So you have like your grandson who has all the Pokemon, 151 of them, and you're sending some dude with a camera and a Disney park amusement ride rail cart to take pictures of them. And that's your story. 0-1. Yes, 0-1.
Oh, yeah, man. Yeah, we just played. That doesn't count. I wouldn't have known that.
It's just like, why?
I think the real story behind it, though, is that, you know, I think Oak is just, you know, I think like, what was the kid's name? Tom? Did you say it was Tom?
Todd
Snap.
Todd. Okay. Todd, which also, for the record, I had no idea that was actually like a minor character in the show. That definitely makes this like some extended universe deep lore shit that I was not aware of. So, but no, I think the real story here is like Oak was just talking to Todd and he's just like, so Todd, is your mom around? Oh, she is. Well, what if I were just to, why don't you go take some photos of Pokemon and don't come back for a while? Because that's like, that's Oak's MO, man.
All these rides take about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I was close.
Welcome back. Yeah. And I think they tried to make it like, it's so strange that stuff's going on this island. And I also vaguely remember being like, man, if Pokemon Red was here, I could have gotten Zapdos, Articuno, Moltres, like.
Yeah, right. Yeah, why didn't they just send you to this island? You could have been done in 30 minutes.
So Shane, do you have anything to add for the story while Lindsay's looking up the official lore in the manual?
Like I said, man, I don't know. I don't think I can top that. She pretty much covered everything.
She made it the best.
Pretty well.
It's a story of unity that we need today.
I would have said far less about it. I was just like, you show up on this island, there's a bunch of Pokemons, you take the photos, and then Oak is just like, you suck at this, and that's the game. That's pretty much it. So she did a better job than I did. But speaking of the 0-1, the thing that clearly everybody should know and be familiar with, talking a little bit about the gameplay, I'll just kind of roll into this one. From my perspective, I don't think there's a whole lot to complain about here, really. I know that I tend to try to find things to nitpick, but there's not really a whole lot. Like, it kind of works well for what it is. The controls make sense, you know, they're very straightforward. You know, pretty much anybody can enjoy it, which, you know, being a Pokemon game, I think it was marketed correctly. And the only thing I will note, though, is, and it was a very, very minor inconvenience because you can fix this, but I just personally am not a huge fan of inverted controls, and this game defaults to it so that the analog stick is inverted at first, and that threw me totally off. Like, Oak hated all of my pictures the first time through because I could not aim worth a damn. And then I went back and I swapped it, and it was a much better play experience. But outside of that, it was totally fine. Mm-hmm. And the other thing really is that the replayability, kind of what, you know, Lynnsey was alluding to with her cycling through the save file, is fairly high. I mean, each stage is pretty short. So you can definitely get in, get out in a, you know, short order. And the cool thing is you tend to discover new things that are occurring in the level the more times you run through them, or you catch something out of the corner of your eye while you're, you know, plinking along in the 0-1, and you're like, shit, I just missed that. And then you want to go and run it again to try to get like a really good shot of, you know, whatever that thing that it happens to be happening like at that moment. So replayability is really good, which I think is in its favor. And yeah, I don't know, man, like overall, it's a pretty solid little package. I don't really have a whole lot to complain about.
My point is this. Do you like Time Crisis, but you don't like shooting things? Or like, I don't know, having things too difficult, just want to chill? Play Pokémon Snap. It has the button you press and you shoot things when you're ready to shoot them. And then you just hide and don't shoot. It's Time Crisis for Pokemon, and it's fine.
Yeah, but then you can save your really good photos in your album to keep them forever and cherish them.
Yeah, that's the good part. That's the additional good part. But the gameplay itself, it's Time Crisis with Pokemon.
And apples
and pester balls and speeding up and slowing down. Yeah, it's a little bit more than that, but the actual basic gameplay, yeah, it functions a lot like Time Crisis. Now I'm sitting down really thinking about it, because if you haven't played Time Crisis, those of you who don't know, that you would like cover, and then when you would press down on the lever in the arcade or whatever, I think a button on the gun con, you would pop up and you would start shooting things. Yes, hit the lever. Fuck Konami, because Konami is the worst. Because they are Konami, and Sony is now trying to gain traction on them. But that's a different story for another time. Look, this is Time Crisis, and I love it because it's an on-rail shooter. It's a shooting game. It's a light gun game that you do through your controller. It's just you don't have a light gun, it's such a fucking sad thing that this thing never came out on the Wii U as an official title, or on the Wii as an official title with updated controls, because I don't think it did on the Virtual Console. It was just, like through your analog stick. This would have been perfect for those kind of controls. It would just make so much sense. And it's, finally people are getting it with the new Nintendo Switch game, and I'm happy they're getting it. But this should have been released a long time ago with a remake. It's so well suited for those kind of controls. And I'm so happy people who love this game are going to get an actual update that they can probably do something more, I won't say more fun, but enhanced fun with. And I can't wait for those people to have that kind of game.
Nice.
How about you, Tiger and Lynnsey?
This reminds me of one of those things where you go to the arcade, you go to the shooting gallery, you put in a quarter, you grab a little gun, you aim at the targets, and when you hit the target, it goes boo-loo-loo-loo, and then things happen, like the milk bottle falls off, and then it, and if you hit the sign, then it goes pa-ching. A reaction causes a B reaction, whatever. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of how I saw this game.
Instant gratification.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like if you throw an apple, then things happen. Different things happen. If you throw this little puffer ball, I don't know what that thing's called anymore.
Pester ball.
Yeah, pester ball. Different things happen, and that was like the appeal of the game. It's weird because even I played it just one time on Sunday, like a few days ago, yesterday actually, and I didn't know why I was having so much fun with such a simple concept. Like, this game is simple, very simple, but like it's a fun game. It's like I can't really say like, is there any other game like this?
I don't think so.
That I can really, I can't really. It's very original, and I enjoyed that, even though it was only like an hour. But I will say that if I did not have Lynnsey with me, would I have spent longer with the game, because I wouldn't have known where all the special things were, or back then, I imagine if I had spent time back then, I would have been like, how does this happen? How does this happen? I got to figure out how this happens, and you just end up trying different things. Anywho, that's kind of how I saw the gameplay. And it was just a simple concept, and I appreciate it. I'm going to let Lynnsey throw her 2 bits.
Throw an apple. You're going to throw the apple to Lynnsey?
Yeah.
No. Yeah. I want to say the inverted control situation. I also I'm an enemy to inversion, and I immediately changed that. And Josh was playing with just inverted controls, just like, oh, I'll do what the game wants me to do. And he handed me the controller, and I was like, what is this shit? Take this off, help. And I stopped. I'm like, no, I'm not playing it. I'm quitting the level. You gotta change it. So
like, oh, okay, you can change it.
I had a lot of pictures of the ground.
I was like, I was not gonna continue.
Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is much better.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, off we go. I was really disappointed in the Pikachu situation. And if you don't know what the Pikachu situation is that Pikachu does some miraculous things in this game. Many, many different versions of Pikachu. There's a balloon Pikachu, and there's surfing Pikachu, and there's Zappy Zapdos Pikachu, and there's riding on Articuno's Pikachu, and there's a bunch of other Pikachus throughout this whole game, but you only get one picture Pikachu. And you can save your Pikachu in your regular album, but there should be like special Pikachu challenge, because they made Pikachu challenges in each level, like 2 or 3 for each one. And I always thought it was really disappointing that well, I guess, riding on Articuno is the best one, even though if someone were to ask me, I would say Balloon Pikachu is probably number 1, but that's not the one that gives me the most points. It's riding on Articuno Pikachu. And I always thought I'd unlock the Pikachu section, because it was clearly wanting for it.
You actually bring up a really good point there. And that is that I think if you play this game enough, you start to quickly realize that what Professor Oak thinks is a good picture does not correlate to what a good picture even is.
Yeah.
It's very mechanical in that way. You figure it out that you're just like, okay, if I want the most points, it needs to be dead center in the photo. It needs to be about this big.
Yeah.
It needs to be facing here. I need to get a good pose. When realistically, I kind of felt the same way you did. I had some good photos of I had a really great composed photo of a palm tree on one side and then a Butterfree in the negative space on the right. And it was very well done. And I was like, I'm going to save this photo. And Professor Oak was just like, oh, that's terrible. And I'm like, okay, well, you're fucking art critic, but all right, fine.
Yeah.
Exactly. He's not there for your art, Shane. He's there for you to collect just the Pokemon.
Yeah, I think it's Moltres, where the best picture of Moltres is when he's popping out of the egg. And if you're just right in his face and, he's popping out of the egg. But he takes the time to fly up into the sky towards the sun and do his giant bird pose. And he goes, blah, and it goes, blah, and everything sparkly dorkly. And you take a picture of that because, who wouldn't?
It's beautiful.
And then Professor Oak is the pose is so, it's all right.
I've seen better. But,
it's all right. It's not, this is not
you took it from behind, you monster.
Yeah. It's it's not a big out of focus picture of an egg, but I guess it'll do. Whatever,
you can't really see the definition of his pores in this one, but it's all right. It's fine. And to the remake situation, you got a lot of situations going on at once. I remember when the Wii U came out, and they had, I think it was Wind Waker that drove me on, but when the Wind Waker had you play the Wind Waker game, and you have your map and stuff on the gamepad. I was like, hello, Nintendo. So now Pokemon Snap is ready for a remake. Absolutely. I remember tweeting about it. And my 2 top games, and every time there'd be an E3 or something, it'd be so Pokemon Snap and Fatal Frame. We're doing those right now, right? Right? Doing it? I did eventually get Fatal Frame at the very, very end of the life of Wii U, which I was the only one in the world absolutely ecstatic for. Came at digital only, whatever. I had to go to Japan to get the physical copy. That's another story. But never got my Pokemon Snap. And the 2, absolutely perfect console for a remake to be on was the Wii U. It was dying for a Pokemon Snap remake. So Whatever. I
making
guess
Chris
we'll do
very
it on the
happy
more
right now.
popular console
Yeah.
or whatever.
Wii U is the best console ever.
Right. Poor thing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that and the GameCube. That's those are the top ones, aren't they?
I agree.
I also had a Dreamcast.
you
Oh.
know how to pick them.
Yeah.
How you feeling, Tiger?
Whatevs. Whatevs. I also downloaded every game
Oh.
There you go.
on the Dreamcast.
Oh yeah, yeah. You know what?
But that's another story.
I didn't ascribe to that fraud.
I think you did bring up a fantastic point, Lynnsey, in the fact that you could only save one photo of each Pokemon, and every single time your picture got more points with that Pokemon. Like Professor Oak doesn't even give you the option. He's like, oh, more points for this picture. Fuck this previous one.
Yeah.
He just tears it up.
Just tears it up.
Like,
But the scientific research we can
get rid of this
gone.
shit.
Remember that awful
just
picture you
gone.
took?
He just like holds it right up to Todd's face. He's like, do you remember? Do you remember how bad this was?
it just kind of gets to the point. You just take a picture of every single Pokemon every single time you go through the map, and you just throw it up against the previous one just to see if it gets more points, even if you don't like it more. And sometimes it just gets more points, and you're just like, yeah, fuck your previous shit. It's just gone. And how is
Yeah.
this supposed to work if you're going to Blockbuster and printing up pictures? Like Shane said, he has the negative space. He has the negative space with Butterfree.
Well, you have and yes, it was a beautiful picture. Fuck you, but no, you have your separate personal album that's different from the ones he grades. Those are the ones that you could probably go take and print out at Blockbuster.
Yeah,
Okay.
you could print out the ones you thought to save on. Yeah, and poo on you if you decide to show that to Professor Oak instead of save it into your album, because if you try to show it to Professor Oak and he hates it, it's gone.
We'll burn it.
It's gone forever.
So you're like, well, I'll just try to do it again, but you'll never get it. You never get that perfect negative space with a Butterfree ever again.
It's gone forever.
But you can go print those out. I don't did
The
you
one
have
that
to
got
save
away.
it onto the memory card, or did you just bring your cartridge there?
Cartridge.
I think they just bring the cartridge. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say if they had like the memory card option, like it didn't make any sense why they couldn't add a Pikachu album. Just saying. Or another save.
The Pikachu situation.
Yeah,
Speaking of which, how good did Pikachu look in this game? So we can go into graphics. I think he looked really good. What do you guys think?
Man, Dead Pikachu was thick though.
He was a thick boy.
Yeah, he was like Gen 1 Pokemon card Pikachu, but a like little cuter like anime Pikachu. He was in between. I thought he did a great job.
No, I liked it. Now, and the funny thing is I honestly think this game aged far better than a lot of other first gen 3-dimensional games, like N64 titles, especially. Like my benchmark for this one, if you listen to the show enough, you probably know this already, but my benchmark is always Gauntlet Legends for the N64, because that thing looks like hot trash now. And I used to play the shit out of that game, and now I go back to it and I get a migraine because I can't tell what the difference is between the dirt and like my player model. So that's kind of the bar we're working with. But I think the cartoony kind of aesthetic that they had here, for obvious reasons, it definitely helps, as it usually does. I think games that have like a very distinct art style like that tend to age better than ones that are going for more realism, generally speaking. I think Chris kind of brought it up already before, but just seeing or actually it might have been Lynnsey, I don't know, but seeing your favorite Pokemon like in full 3D, like in a natural habitat for what I think was the first time.
For North American audiences, at least.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. I don't have a lot of negatives to say about this one either, to be honest. I will point out, though, that I did very much notice, especially playing this on an emulator where the graphics are a little bit more crisp, that they definitely saved some system resources and or development time with the menu screens, because man, those are some GIFs.
They're pretty bad. I will say this: when I first booted it up for this episode, and I saw the intro cinematic, so to speak, if you want to call it that, I was like, oh,
It had fog.
oh no, like this is going to be bad. This looks awful. The animations are so choppy. Todd looks jank as fuck.
Poor Todd.
I am in for a ride. This is going to be bad.
Yeah, the 0-1.
Then I started playing it in the 0-1, taking pictures of adorable Pokemon, and like, oh, this has aged really well. This is adorable. I love this. Everything's there. All the Pokemon look fine. Nothing I can look at in this game, I don't say, oh, that looks like shit. There isn't one moment I said that. I mean, Eevee kind of looks a little weird, but other than that, everything looks good. The environments they're not that great, but the Pokemon themselves, the reason you're coming to the show, that looks fine. Everything there, they put their resources into making the Pokemon look great. They did it. It still looks good today. And yeah, it's held up better than a lot of other early 3D titles, and hats off to the developers. This was a great job on their part.
Yeah, for sure.
Tiger, Lynnsey?
Yeah, I didn't really notice that until you guys have all said that. And I'm wondering what it has to do with. Did they really spend more time adding more polygons to all of these characters? Or is it just, since everything's on a track and everything's programmed, was it easier to prevent seeing bad graphics without better words?
Well, no, I see what you're saying.
We can't clip into anything. Everything's on rails,
I think they specifically picked Pokemon that aren't very crazy either. Obviously, they're going to have Pikachu.
Every Pokemon's not in it.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
I think one of the jankier things you might notice is like the shell on Squirtle looks a little this is close enough type situation. I can't stop saying that word, but like every other Pokemon they use is like basically a one color easier type, and they manage to get in like a Magikarp and looks good. I think the more impressive ones are maybe like Mankey and like the skinny ones that like even their skinny tails and legs still looked good. And Rapidash running, like that was a really good shot.
Those were the best ones.
I think those, like, that's just ridiculous how good that looks. I think Moltres looked a little derpy, but he always does. So he looked derpy just the way he's supposed to. And I think everything, just the facial expression of like Jigglypuff and coughing and that scene where they're chasing each other, and even Meowth, like just those, like, you think they'll be like, how are they going to make this look so good? But I think it just looks great. Like,
yeah.
And you can see expressions in the Pokemon when if you hit them on the face with a Pester Ball, or like if they get hurt, or like, I just think it's really cool. I think Cloyster is one of the coolest looking ones. Like that was such a surprise too. And like, even just having this big black face in the mix of like big purple, you can definitely tell the definitions of the parts of the Pokemon. Just like, I am really still impressed with it. Agreed on that.
Yeah. And I think Tiger makes a good point, even though maybe he not use word good, but it is a good point in that I do think that they were able to really squeeze more out of, the model fidelity, if you will, because of the nature of the game. I mean, it being 100% on rails means that they can very carefully curate each one of these levels to show you exactly what they want you to see and nothing else. They can quite literally just have nothing as far as models or textures behind just the stuff that you're supposed to see. It's like the definition of, like a theme park game. And so by being able to kind of really cut down on all that extraneous stuff, I do really think that actually they were able to allocate more of the memory and resources that they were working with to just making the Pokemon themselves, I think, look as good as they could.
Even for a rail shooter, it looks a lot better. I mentioned Time Crisis earlier. It looks better in Time Crisis. It looks better in Virtua Cop. It looks better in Virtua Cop 2.
Oh, God.
And those are other rail shooters that you had at the time. So, and if you compare the two, there's a lot more going on the screens of other more traditional rail shooters than you have in Pokemon Snap. But Pokemon Snap holds up way better in those games for it, at least graphically, depending on your taste.
Yeah, for sure. So what about the music in this thing and the sound? I feel like maybe there's a slightly different take on some of this. So I want to hear from Tiger and Lynnsey first. What do you think about it?
As far as music, I didn't really get much out of it. I think the hotness of the game is the sound effects, though. I particularly liked the memorable thing for me is when I hit Meowth with an apple. It's like meow. I loved that. It's like a cause effect sound effects from the game. So I appreciate those things. The music didn't really stand out for me, and I think we mentioned Professor Oak's voice, and that was nice. That's pretty much all I have to say. What?
Yeah, it was like the menu.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the music. Who cares?
I was trying to think of the first area music theme, and it's funny. Like when I think of it, like okay, you start off. The first thing I hear in my head is because Pidgeys come out.
Yeah,
and then right after that is because a Doduo runs across the screen, and I'm like, I don't remember what the music was.
Yeah. The sound effects just so strong.
But I do sort of like I can kind of manage it, and the cave I think is the most memorable. It's a little like
eerie,
cavey. Yeah, you know.
I'm in a cave.
Yeah,
it's very cavey.
I think you're right. Like they spend a lot of time on the sounds that all make. It's not. I wonder if you could turn it up. I don't remember. But you know what the real jam is? Is the Poké flute. That bitch got 3 songs on it. You can change between the songs, and they'll do different stuff. And it goes boop 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 boop. And there's that's the one I really remember.
That's right. Yeah.
There's the one you have to do the specific one for the Jinx to Hula to awaken Articuno. You can get that wrong, but like Snorlax will tell you that he likes that jam. He'll sing to one of them and he'll dance to another one. Like that's where your music is. They spend a lot of time on that Poké flute.
Poké flute MVP.
It's for the win. Yay.
Yeah. Boop, 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 boop.
I'm actually in agreement with both of you almost 100%. I didn't notice the music at all. I don't remember any of it. It's the Pokemon noises that were being made. Like you said, the Meowth when you threw shit at Pokemon and they responded negatively, which was always amazing. And that's what you wanted. I guess that's what you wanted, especially in 1999 as a Pokemon fan, is you wanted Pikachu to say Pikachu in your Pokemon Pikachu video game, other than making like the garbled chiptune noise they made in the Game Boy. Like, now he's actually saying Pikachu. And that's all you can ask for. And that's what all the Pokemon were doing. And you don't have time to focus on the music when you're trying to throw balls at things. You're more trying to pay attention to what's popping up so I can throw my balls in its direction. That's what you are more concerned about. Or taking pictures. I'm sorry. Apples and pictures. Yes. I keep on thinking Pokeballs, like Pokemon Let's Go.
That makes sense.
I mean,
yeah, man. I guess I don't really have a whole lot to add to that. And it's funny that you say that because I was playing this about an hour ago and I already can't remember any of the music. Other than the menu music, that one sticks out. But everything else, I'm just like, was there music? I actually don't remember. Which isn't to say that it's bad. I think it does what it set out to do. It's there. It provides the correct ambiance. Caves are cavey, so you got that. But other than that, I mean, I don't think that was the main focus, as you guys were saying. And I think that they did a really great job of really honing in on what people were looking for. And if this was a game that had come out with, really shitty compressed like audio clips of the Pokemon, I think it would not have gone over nearly as well. No, I think as it had. So no, I gotta agree. Just about everything there. So typically, one of the last things we have some, general miscellany to discuss, but I don't think we have anything for this one unless someone's bringing a secret weapon to the conversation.
No, I'll be honest. I didn't really look it up. I was just intrigued by the fact it was started out as a Jack and the Beanstalk prototype. I think that was the thing that really intrigued me. But we covered that in the brief history, but that's super interesting.
Yeah, I think they made the right call on that one too, because when I read that, when you put the brief history together, I was just like, okay, like who who wants to take pictures of Jack and the Beanstalk?
Yeah. Well, that's why in the opening credits it says Jack and Beans.
Oh,
really?
I literally asked that while we were playing it. Like, why is that? Why?
Mind blown.
Yeah.
I was like, who is Jack and Beans?
Man, good.
Oh, good for them.
Thanks, Awada.
Yeah.
Franks and Beans.
Take some pictures of the giant beanstalk. We know you want to. Man, yeah, I would have never.
Have you seen my Pokeball?
Have you seen the golden Pokeball?
Please now. All right. Well, then that would lead us to the final piece of the discussion, which is whether or not we feel that this holds up today. Chris, I'm going to have you start this time. What are your thoughts?
It's a super short game. You can get through it really quickly. And like Tiger said earlier, it's a game that's completely unique even today. The fact that, yeah, it's an on-rail shooter, I got that. But the way you interact in order to facilitate that on-rail shooter kind of action, taking pictures of Pokemon, like luring them with apples or throwing pester balls at them to piss them off so you can do what you need to do to them, or speeding up stuff or poke-fluting them. You're not going to get that in a lot of games, with rail shooters especially. So, I mean, if you don't like Pokemon, if Pokemon's just not your jam and you have no attraction to it, no, this game's not for you. You're not going to like it. It doesn't hold up, and it would have never held up no matter when you played this game. But if you like Pokemon, if you have a passing interest in Pokemon, you just want to have a good, casual, chill time, that won't take a long time to do either. Yeah, it definitely holds up. You should go and try it out, and you should play it.
All right. Well, I'll go next, and we'll let Tiger and Lynnsey close things out. But yeah, I got to agree. I think it's exactly what it set out to be. And even though I think a lot of folks weren't expecting this when they were asking for a Pokemon game for their Nintendo 64.
Mm-hmm.
I think by and large, most people were pretty pleased with it. And I mean, I know I enjoyed the hell out of it, renting it several times, even though I was not even really the biggest Pokemon fan by quite a large margin. And so if there's something that you want to, have a really kind of lighthearted, just fun time with, that you don't really want to get super involved, and you don't need to get bogged down in mechanics or a whole bunch of convoluted plots or anything like that, and you just want to jump into a 0-1 and take some sweet pics of some Pokemans, then yeah, you can't really go wrong with this. I mean, and especially, of course, we're talking about it more or less when this episode drops will be right after the new Pokémon Snap comes out for the Switch. So we're, of course, recording this prior, which means it remains to be seen how that turns out. I'm hoping for the best. And I'm also hoping... yeah, possibly. And I'm also hoping that it really does kind of introduce a whole new generation to Pokemon Snap, because it really is a very novel concept. And the one thing that I actually think I might differ just a little bit with Chris on this is that I think that this has some sort of like cross-sectional potential, in that even if you're not like a huge Pokemon fan, I still think that, if you sat down with this, you could get some enjoyment out of it. Like, it could be, of course, it's riding a lot on its IP, right? But even without that, I think the concept itself is novel enough that you could at least get, an hour or 3 of enjoyment out of it, no matter what.
Tiger?
Oh boy, yeah. It's definitely still probably one of the most unique games on the Nintendo 64, if not just ever, if I can think of one.
Hey, you Pikachu.
Yeah. Well, not every unique game deserves to be revisited. But
Seaman.
Seaman.
Oh man,
it's like,
play that on Dreamcast.
I kept thinking in my head, like, if this, then that heaven, like that's kind of what I envision this game is. It's like, you didn't know, like, I didn't know that I cared about, Pokemon in their habitat, and what things do they do in their play life, or while they're messing around in the caves,
as
or,
actual
yeah,
I live doing Pokemon
if
things.
If no human was trying to catch me, what would they be doing? What would I be? Whatever. I thought it was really cute, and I was also into photography when I was younger. So even though I didn't catch it when I was younger, I can't believe that I missed it. Like, oh my gosh, I missed a photography game. That's really cool. That, I could still experience it right now, and it's still fun. So heck yeah, it's still good for today. For mostly forever, whoever's a Pokemon fan. But even if you're not a Pokemon fan, I think if you're into some photography, well, let's stick to it's for Pokemon fans. It's just for Pokemon fans. Lynnsey.
Well, I think, like I said, I'm not a huge Pokemon fan. I like Pokemon Snap and Red. And I like a lot of other newer gen stuff, but I think especially there's still a lot of like, I only like the 151 like that then's gonna hold up for you because there's no Pichu bullshit or anything like that. It's just the most popular Pokemon of the original 151, except Mewtwo. But like, you got your Psyducks and you got your Mewtwo's and your Pikachus and they look great and they sound great. And
your yellow Boogaboos.
If you wanted some like equitable to the anime. So I think a lot of people who are fans of the 90s anime too, which I think that, those reboot of 90s cartoons get people all a fluster, So I think these type of game, this particular game, especially how short and easy it is too, can get people at any age. It's definitely an aging well game in my opinion, because I'm not, and I wouldn't really think photography just like a cute little unique, not having to kill something, just chill and seeing what things do without being penalized for it. I think is another cool thing. Just those kind of games. If you liked the Let's Go games, I think those are like in the same type of like simple, chill type Pokemon games that a lot of people will like even now.
All right. Well, it sounds like we are all unanimous then. So Pokemon Snap still holds up today.
100%.
Still good to go back to. 100%. I suppose with that means that it's about time for us to wrap up our discussion of the game for today. So first and foremost, I'd like to thank Tyger and Lynnsey for joining us today. It's always a pleasure.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be here.
There we go. That's the other note card. All right. Before we do our little spiel, Tyger and Lynnsey, are there anything that you would wish to plug for the fine people listening at home?
I can be found on Twitter at LPTyger, in which if you want to hear me talk about GameStop, not the actual store,
hot crypto tips,
or Dogecoin, that's what you would find out of me. Yeah, that you could find me on Twitter. And Lynnsey, what, do you have anything?
I have a Twitter.
Cool. What is it?
Just leave it at that. Don't actually say what it is. Just
yeah, right. I'm there. I know. I have the tweets. Power beanie. It's one word. I don't particularly tweet about anything.
But when you do, you get a lot of likes.
It's true.
Yes.
I say nothing controversial. I just say something I thought of
all right.
every so often.
Generally makes people laugh.
Or just
smile.
the best of Twitter.
Yeah.
Yes.
You want some wholesome tweets about friendship and
cats.
Here I am. And Monster Hunter.
Pokemon
Sometimes I
Snap
do
of
Monster
Twitter.
Hunter stuff too.
All right. Awesome. Well, with that, then as far as we are concerned, if you are listening to this, then that means you have found the show. So congratulations. Welcome. It's good to have you here. If you would like to engage with the show further, there's a couple ways that you can do that. We always like to plug our public Discord because we have a great little community that's going on there. And we would love for you to join if you have not already. And you can do that by going over to bit.ly/RHP chat. And that'll give you an invite to the Arcade Floor channel where you can drop in, say hello, introduce yourself, and then head on over and post some memes or listen to our 24/7 music channels or pretty much do whatever you want. So please feel free to come check that out. If you'd like to support the show in a more financial sense, then we would, of course, be forever grateful. And you can do that by visiting our Patreon at the wonderful URL of gorpfans.com. That's GORPFANS pokéverse.com, URL suggested by our patrons, as a matter of fact, because they're ridiculous and we love them. And you can go over there, take a look at the different donation tiers, pick the one that suits you the best, and you can get access to a bunch of really great bonus content in the form of RH Guidance, which are full bonus episodes that are available to every patron, regardless of your tier level. And if you decide to step it up a little bit into one of the higher tiers, you also get access to some of our other audio stuff, like our outtakes from these recording sessions, the rapid fire reviews, video games were a mistake, and a lot of other little, side series that we got going on. So feel free to check that out. And last but not least, we do still have the merch store open. So if you want to grab yourself a shirt or a mug or a bumper sticker to slap on somebody's car that doesn't belong to you, I don't recommend doing that. Then you can go to bit.ly/RHP merch and pick out something that suits you the best. So, Chris, would you like to talk a little bit about our Stream Sundays?
Well, of course I would, Shane. And on Stream Sundays, you can find us at twitch.tv/retro hangover, and you'll see us play games poorly. Really poorly. And
pretty much all the time, yeah.
Not only consistently, like the game will just crash for whatever reason. However, we do have a lot of great conversations, if I didn't already sell you on going there, with a lot of our people who do show up for our Twitch streams, including Riku, Maslama, Randall, and all of them are patrons, and they all have a really good time. So come in, hang out with us on twitch.tv/retro hangover at 9 o'clock Eastern time on Sunday nights, and we'll have a good time.
All right. Well, I suppose, with all of that being said, until next time,
play with your snappy joysticks.
Shane here with a quick message. The one rule Chris and I have always gone by regarding advertisements is this: it has to be something we use and can personally vouch for. If you know me, you know I love coffee, and Bones Coffee Company has been my go-to for home brewing for quite some time now. Their small batch beans come in an impressive variety of flavors, like Mint Invaders from Chocolate Space, or Electric Unicorn, which I swear tastes exactly like Fruity Pebbles. And the best part? No added sugar or calories involved, just natural flavors infused right into the beans themselves. Build your own sample pack of 5 4-ounce bags to find out which flavors speak to you, or jump in head first with full 12-ounce bags. They've even got K-Cups. Step up your homebrew game with Bones Coffee by visiting bit.ly/RHPBones. That's bit.ly/RHPBONES.